Welcome to the Explainer. All right, let's dive right into this. If you're joining me today, chances are you're dealing with an incredibly specific, incredibly annoying problem. Your cake vape pen just won't hit. You pull, you puff, and literally nothing. Well, don't throw it out just yet. Today, we're walking through a comprehensive step-by-step diagnostic guide to troubleshoot your cake disposable. We're going to break down exactly what's going on inside that little device, and, more importantly, how to fix the whole shebang.
Why won't my cake pen light up? Man, we've all been there, and it is just incredibly frustrating. You know the feeling, right? You've had a long day, you're looking forward to a smooth, flavorful hit of strawberry cough, or maybe some blue dream, and instead of that satisfying vapor and the glowing LED, you get absolutely nothing. You're just sucking on a piece of plastic. It's the absolute worst. But hey, the good news is, most of the time, this really isn't a lost cause. So, here is our diagnostic roadmap for today. Diagnosing a dead pen, fixing battery issues, clearing clogged airflow, identifying burnt coils and low oil, and finally, preventing future problems. We're going to start with the absolute easiest fixes and systematically work our way through the hardware to get you puffing again.
Section 1, Diagnosing a Dead Pen. Let's look at the power basics. To fix this thing, we first have to understand its anatomy. Cake pens are super popular because of their sleek style and those powerful hemp-based blends, things like Delta 8, THCA, or HHC. But because everything is built into one enclosed system, a failure in any single component shuts the whole operation down. Inside your cake disposable is typically a rechargeable 280 to 350 milliamp hour battery. Most power issues stem directly from the specific piece of hardware failing to provide the 2.5 to 3.3 volts needed to actually heat the ceramic coil. If that voltage doesn't hit the coil, the oil doesn't vaporize, and the LED doesn't light up. It really is that simple. Moving on to Section 2, Fixing Battery Issues. Time for the power check.
Okay, we need to begin our diagnostic check with the most common, most likely culprit, power delivery. Go ahead and grab your pen, and let's run through a physical check of your device's power system together. First up, plug your cake vape into a USB-C charger. You're going to want to charge it for about 1 to 2 hours. Check the LED indicator. You should see a red light or a flashing light for charging, and a green or steady light when it's totally full. Now, if nothing lights up, step 2 is crucial. Test a different cable or wall port. Honestly, so many users think their pen is dead when really it's just a bad cable. Finally, if you try to hit the pen and it blinks 5 to 10 times, pay attention. That is the universal hardware signal for a dead battery. So, if the battery still isn't taking a charge, try cleaning the charging port contacts with a dry cotton swab to remove any dirt or pocket lint. Also, and I know this might sound super obvious, but verify your model is actually rechargeable. Some older or budget cake pens are non-rechargeable, meaning once they die, they are completely done. And finally, keep in mind that while a lot of pens are draw activated, models like the Cake 3.0 require 5 rapid clicks of the button to turn them on.
All right, Section 3, Clearing Clogged Airflow. Unblocking the path. Let's say your battery is fully charged, the light turns on, but you still aren't getting any vapor. Well, if you have power but no vapor, that thick live resin has likely cooled into a glue-like blockage inside the airflow pathway. It's like a tiny traffic jam. Here is your unblocking checklist. Step 1. Carefully look inside the mouthpiece for lint or dried oil and use a toothpick or paper clip to gently scoop it out. Step 2. Flick or tap the pen gently to force any trapped air bubbles up to the top of the cartridge, because those bubbles can literally block the flow of oil to the coil. Step 3. Hold the device tightly in your warm hands for 1 to 2 minutes. This gently raises the temperature to thin out that thick resin. Now, this brings us to a really brilliant trick sourced directly from the Reddit r/weed community. If you have a stubborn clog, close off the air vents, which are usually at the very bottom of the pen, with your fingers, and blow softly through the mouthpiece. What you're doing here is using back pressure to dislodge the clog without actually pushing a tool down the mouthpiece. This is absolutely crucial, because jabbing tools too far down can shatter that delicate internal ceramic heating coil, and then you're really out of luck. Let's jump into Section 4. Burnt coils and low oil. We're looking at the heating elements. We're now shifting our focus to the more terminal hardware issues. If your pen has power and the airflow is totally clear, but you're getting a terribly burnt taste, or the pen feels suspiciously light in your hand, we've got to look at the internal heating elements in your actual oil reserves. It's super important to accurately diagnose your specific terminal issue here. A dead battery gives you a blinking LED, no heat, and the device still feels heavy because, well, it's full of oil. An empty oil tank, on the other hand, gives you a harsh, burnt taste because the coil is literally dry firing. The clear oil window will look completely empty, and physically, the device will feel noticeably lighter in your hand.
Let's look at the hard data behind vape lifespans to put things into perspective. A 1-gram disposable is only going to give you roughly 100 to 200 puffs. A 3-gram will yield about 300 to 600 puffs. So if you've been puffing heavily all weekend, your cartridge might simply be depleted. And remember, cake disposables are a closed system. They cannot be refilled. Once the oil is gone, the pen is done for sure. Now, what if the oil is there, but the coil is just acting up? Well, some button-activated models feature a preheat function. Just press the button exactly 3 times to safely warm the ceramic coil. This can sometimes save a struggling element. However, I need to give you a major warning here. If you're chain vaping, taking hit after hit with literally no breaks, you will permanently burn that coil out. You absolutely must give the pen 10 to 15 second breaks between hits to let the oil resaturate the wick. We also need to talk about the environment because environmental extremes directly impact both the battery chemistry and the oil viscosity. If it's freezing cold out, the oil thickens into a sludge that just won't vaporize. You need to warm it at room temperature for a few minutes. Conversely, if you leave it in a hot car, the battery can overheat and trigger a safety shutoff. So, golden rule, never leave your pen in direct sunlight or a freezing vehicle. Moving to our final section, Section 5, Preventing Future Problems. Let's talk hacks and habits.
We're going to look at user habits and some fantastic community source knowledge to build a better, longer-lasting vape experience. Because fixing a broken pen is great, but preventing it from breaking in the first place, that's the real goal. Let's rapid-fire some desperate last resort hacks straight from the trenches of the r/vape cartridges and r/weed communities. You can try gently shaking the pen for 10 to 15 seconds to loosen clogs. You can blow forcefully into the mouthpiece. Some users carefully hold the glass near but not directly on a lighter flame for 2 to 3 seconds to melt stubborn oil. Others literally put it in the freezer for 5 minutes to shrink the oil, then thaw it. But please caution, use these at your own risk so you don't crack the glass or melt the plastic housing.
Check out this quote from the Reddit/stoner engineering community. They recommend tapping the pen lightly on a hard surface. You know, sometimes the issue is just a tiny manufacturing flaw, a microscopic gap between the battery and the coil. Giving the bottom of the pen a firm but gentle tap on a hard surface like a table can sometimes magically drop the internal battery contact back into place, completing the circuit and fixing the pen instantly. It's crazy, but it works. To empower you going forward, let's lock in these action-oriented preventive steps. Clean your mouthpiece and vents weekly with a bit of rubbing alcohol. Always, and I mean always, store your pen totally upright in a cool, dry place so the oil covers the wick and doesn't leak. Wait 10 to 15 seconds between puffs. And, crucially, buy from authorized dealers to avoid the nasty, failure-prone manufacturing defects found in the rampant counterfeit market. Which leaves us with a final, provocative question. Is it time to replace your vape, or do you just need to change your habits? Armed with these diagnostics, you now know the difference between a simple clog and a terminal battery failure. If the pen is truly dead, remember to safely recycle it at an e-waste facility. But if it's just a stubborn air bubble or a cold cartridge, you now have the exact skills to bring it right back to life. Think about how you treat your hardware, because a little maintenance goes a very, very long way. Keep learning, keep troubleshooting, and I'll see you in the next explainer.